All right, we are now live. Okay,
Live?
we are now live, and thanks to everyone who has joined me from the Voluntary Virtues show. This is Voluntary Virtues After Hours. I am your host. My name is Robert Kruger. We are going to be discussing a variety of topics, just basically whatever comes to our mind, whatever we're interested in. Um, the first thing that I wanted to kind of jump on is the objectivist objections to anarchism that unfortunately Lauren was not able to be a participant in my other show, the Anarchist Experience, and we had quite a conversation about the claims that objectivists have, that anarchism is not an objective way of protecting people's rights, protecting people's liberty. You have to have a
Right, neither is the state.
Yeah, you have to have a monopoly on this, and we came to the conclusion that basically it requires that you have to have a deity who is a monarch that rules over everything. Otherwise, you just can't have objective law, governance, and so on, because if you have any competition in the state level, well, then you might as well have anarchy because it's competition in the free market level. So if you don't have multiple states, you're going to have one state. Well, if you have different legislators who are part of that particular state, well, then each one of them is going to have their own different opinion. So how is that not completely subjective to those particular people's opinion? And then, of course, if you have one particular person who is a dictator and a benevolent one, they still have their own subjective preferences and therefore are not objectively truthful about what it is that's right or wrong and what laws should be. Therefore, you have to have a divine king. And so, as soon as Jesus comes back and decides to rule over the world, as claimed by some of the Christians that are out there, then we can have the objectivist dream world. Oh, wait a minute, they don't believe in God. So, kind of throws that whole objectivist anti-anarchy thing into a tailspin. Anyway, I wanted to get Lauren's opinion on these particular topics, some of the things that we talked about. Did you have a chance to view the video? I know that you commented on it.
A little bit, but I already have to interrupt you. That was not right, and I'm gonna have to correct you.
Okay.
So you are confusing objective and intrinsic. Intrinsic is when reality exists outside of your I'm sorry, that somebody else is able to determine reality, or it already exists, and so either reality is subjective to the person, or to this special person, or which is a god, or reality exists and some people are able to dictate over others. So that's intrinsicism. Intrinsicism means that there is a right out there, that it already exists, and that all morals, every decision in life already has a correct answer, and that's determinism. It's also intrinsicism, and what objectivism is totally different than intrinsicism. So intrinsic morality states that. Subjective morality means that it's whim worship. Whim worship means that anything at any time can be completely moral because of the idea that it's just what you want right now. And so, what you want right now, it's complete hedonism. So hedonism is subjectivism. Objectivism is when you look at objective reality and you say, this is what exists. Okay, this is what I want. How do I take my knowledge of what exists and what I want and make a linear path to get to where I want by not defying reality? And so objective morality has absolutely nothing to do with intrinsicism. It has everything to do with identifying reality. It's like nature must, in order to be commanded, must be obeyed. So you have to think about what reality is, and that's what subjectivism skips. And then you have to determine what you want to do based on the fact that reality exists, which goes against intrinsicism, because intrinsicism doesn't care what you want to do. It's just what is right, and if you don't do the right thing, then you're wrong. It's just, okay, all right, I'm good.
Okay, well, I'm not following you exactly as to how that debunks my criticism. I understand.
About intrinsicism.
Well, no, I was talking about the
God.
claim of objective law.
Right.
Is that okay? If the objectivist claim is that without a centralized monopoly on law, you cannot appropriate the rules of objective thought into law. You cannot protect those rights that are objectively true.
But that's just it. Is that that Ayn Rand stated in her Metaphysics that objective law exists because existence exists. So objective law already exists. So the fact that life is your ultimate goal, no matter what your goals are, and no matter what your hierarchy looks like, life has to be at the top. Because without it, you can't, so life has to be protected above all, which is the objective law. Objective law is that life is number one on your hierarchy, no matter what. And
what if objective law exists, and why do we need a monopoly on violence?
That's just it. That's where she got it wrong. Is she already said that objective law exists. She contradicted herself in saying, what she was saying is that there needs to be a protector of it. But that's not true. You don't need a protector of it because of the fact that even though some people, when they say subjective, I understand that not everybody accepts the definitions that Ayn Rand put forth, but some people, when they say subjective, mean exactly what I just said about objective, and some people actually mean, like, whim worship. But the people that mean objective law when they say subjective understand what I'm trying to get at. It's that you can't regulate people and their perception of reality because everybody has a different ability to perceive reality. And to say that there are special people that can perceive reality better than the rest of us and perceive and be able to help us in our goals is just BS. The idea that there could ever be a government to help protect objective law is a misunderstanding of what objective law is.
Okay. All right. Now, I mean, realistically, the idea that objective law exists, and you're saying that life has to be number one. Why is it that objectively men on a consistent basis will jump over on top of their spouse or their loved one and protect them when an explosion happens or when a gunman starts firing, where they will sacrifice their own life to protect another?
See, some objectivists state that this is acceptable because your biggest value for your life can be someone else if you love them enough. I think this is also where Ayn Rand got it wrong, because in order to be able to value that person, you have to have life. And to not value that life above that person is to misunderstand the thing that allows you to value. I think it's BS. I don't think her concept of love is completely accurate. I like the selfish part of it, and I think it's totally accurate. But the problem is that her view on the ethics of emergencies, where you can give your life to save your spouses because you can't imagine a happy life without it, is to say that happiness is above life, and you can't put happiness above life because in order to achieve happiness, you have to have life. And you need to remember that without that first stepping stone, you have nothing. Your entire foundation crumbles, and that foundation is life.
Okay, I'm going to invite Kenji. He was a commentator on a variety of videos that we've had here, and he has something that he thinks is a little bit more of a underlying principle behind the objective truth of objective value. And he's saying that as evolution works, basically, it is the propagation of your genes and your thought processes, your understanding of the universe, your you, that is the goal for all human beings. Is that it's our goal to create ideas, create a sense of self, a sense of who we are, and propagate that as a thought process. It creates and expands upon that. And so when I said to him, for example, what about Genghis Khan? Genghis Khan was obviously the best, propagator of his genealogy. Why wasn't he the most, the epitome of what it is that a human being should objectively be? And he indicated that no, it's actually more about, not just your genetics, but the you that is more than just your genetics. And so now he's joined us, and I just wanted to kind of get his input on, is you said the non-aggression principle is not the base of things, and that objectivists might have it wrong, that it's actually, continuing yourself. So why don't you go ahead and explain your position a little bit more?
Me?
No, Kenchi.
Okay.
Am I coming through okay?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's just a little tweak of what Objectivist girl said. Instead of life, you're trying to perpetuate yourself. It's a component of evolution, right? That's the game we're all playing. So to create a perfect clone of yourself would be probably the most ideal objective. So it's not. So it explains. I caught some part on YouTube about. I heard Robert bring up the problem of altruism, and you can see altruism, especially when you give up your own life, is usually for people related to you. It's not going to branch out. It shouldn't branch out farther than that. And like you, and when you mention happiness. Happiness is nature's mechanism, just like pain receptors is a primal mechanism to show you what not to do. Happiness is also the analog to that, as far as survivability, right? So if you lose your job, if somehow you don't get you can't have kids, these things might cause you to be quote unquote unhappy or depressed. And these are nature's mechanisms to tell you that you're not fulfilling your duty of trying to perpetuate yourself. That kind of makes sense.
Lauren?
It's just a tweak on what you just said about what your end goal is. It's not really life. Like if I could somehow, I don't know, it sounds weird. Yeah, I mean.
But the problem is that I think you're thinking about it in the wrong order. The objectivism is all about starting at metaphysics and then working to epistemology and then ethics and then politics, and just as any philosophy would be. And the thing is that you're looking at ethics, and I'm saying you're forgetting that metaphysics comes first. In order to be able to support procreation, which is what you're talking about, we could clone, but that would be a totally different thing, and I haven't even touched the ethics on that. But so the ethics on this would be the fact that you, in order to be able to procreate, you have to first have life. And to create new life, you have to have life. And so you can't value new life more than you value your own life, because without your ability, without your continued existence, you don't have life. And without your continued existence, you can't help that new life develop into the most awesome life it can possibly be. So you have a responsibility to your creation to be there. You need, above all else, to care about your existence more than anything else in the world.
Okay, so
Well,
I guess
that's true, but the only limiter there is that life isn't life is finite. So there comes a point where when you already have kids, you've already raised them. So at some point, your life gets less meaningful as soon as you know that you've already had your seed out there. I'm trying to put this in words, but
I think that that's your opinion. I would never find my life.
it's objective. I mean, it's objective. It's I'm not a Randian, so I'm just talking about like an objective reality here. So if you think about it, if you run a simulate, if you just run a thought experiment about how can you most perpetuate yourself, right? I mean, of course you have to have life, but at some point after, let's say you can't have kids anymore, and you've already had kids, you can't have kids anymore for some reason. At some point, perpetuating your life, I mean, you can create hypotheticals, like weird hypotheticals, where it's necessary to give up your life. Like, for instance, for your kid, like as Robert said, throwing yourself on top of your kid when a grenade's thrown in a room or something, right? And you can't have any more kids. You have one kid. The correct decision is to throw yourself over the kid. It's objective, right? Because if the kid dies and you live, you can't have any more kids, so your genes stop there. You can spread yourself through your memes, your ideas, but your genetics stop there. So it's an evolution mechanism. It's objective. So
one question for you. One question.
go ahead.
For those women who are barren or those guys who are sterile, does their life have no meaning?
No, because
if the biggest goal, did you say no?
No. I didn't mean it like that. I meant yes, of course.
If the biggest goal of life, if the meaning of existence is to procreate, then their existence might
not exactly procreate. I mean, that is part of it. That is a big part of it. Perpetuate oneself.
Right?
Perpetuate oneself.
Yeah, it's to spread the you, and whether the you is the thought processes that you have in understanding reality, in engaging other people in a certain way, in the studies that you've done as far as exploration of science and so on. Your memes
and ideas would be kind of secondary because there's behavior embedded in genetics. Well, I believe some of it is, right? As far as maybe intelligence.
Are you arguing that it's not the person's existence, it's what they leave behind that's most important?
It's an abstract concept, right? That really makes me think as far as when I try to answer that question. What they leave behind. If I could somehow perpetuate myself, that's my only objective, and the fidelity, I want to be 100% me.
But that's placing your value. First of all, the first thing is, if someone else can leave exactly behind what you can leave behind, which is totally possible statistically.
What do you mean?
More than likely, what you say will not be remembered by anything more than your very close circle.
You're talking about ideas.
Yes. So
okay.
What you say, first of all, has most likely been said before, statistically. Second of all, will most likely be said again after you. And third of all, will most likely not be remembered by anybody other than your close circle of friends, unless you've created a YouTube channel like I have. But it doesn't matter because the things that I've said have already been said and will be said again after me. So to say that the things that you leave behind are your most important value is to say that you are only as valuable as the things that have already been said and will be said after you. Secondly, second point is that if your highest value should be what you leave behind, you are setting your standard at what other people think of what you leave behind. Your standard is other people, not yourself.
Again, the meme / ideas of myself is not is a component, is only a component of myself, right? I believe genetics is actually makes up just because it embeds some of my behavior, that or my capability of processing data, intelligence, is embedded in genetics, at least a big portion of it. I think genetics plays a larger role than your ideas do.
So you are.
Although it is important that I spread my ideas. If I could put my ideas inside, if I could perpetuate me, if I could create a clone, or if I could make myself immortal, right? That would be my number one option. Then I wouldn't care about my kids. No one would. I mean, kind of. It's just an instinct of that nature gave us because it's survivably advantageous to care about your kids. Because if you don't, you'd be. Anyone want to jump in? No, go ahead. Ask a question.
Daniel, I think you had something to say.
Yeah. Well, a few things. First of all, it's not Randy and Kenji. That's hate speech. It's objectivist.
I don't know. I don't really read her books, so. I don't like fiction. I don't like fiction.
People by the label they want to be called. It's like calling a Jew a kike.
Is it derogatory?
It actually is. Yes, it's very derogatory.
I meant objectivist and Irandian.
I didn't let it get away with that either. And I'm not an objectivist, but you should call them what they want to be called. But secondly, I think if I understand you, Lauren, correctly, I disagree with you because I think there are things, still in my own life that I would sacrifice my life for. And I don't think there's anything.
That doesn't mean you're correct, though, right?
What do you mean?
Objectively, if
I decide if I'm correct, I know my values more than anyone.
No, you don't decide what reality is.
Sure, that's true, but I decide what my values are. And
yeah, you can, but that doesn't mean you're bettering your survivability. That's the objective.
Look, for instance, if I knew, for instance, that I could end the state, this is very theoretical and not realistic, but if I knew, I could end the state and for the government never to emerge again and I would have to die, would I give up my life for that to happen? In a minute. I would. And, I hope other people here would as well. And if not, they're pricks.
Yeah, again, that's your ethics. I think let's say you had no other relatives or no other genetics out there, right? Let's assume that
I don't know why
that's also the case.
I sort of want it to end with me.
Because I could agree with you if you already had a kid, right? If you had a kid and you could end the state, you'd almost guarantee a better life for future, for posterity, right?
Oh, even if I didn't have a kid, it wouldn't make
that's why I'm making it as hard as possible.
My goal is not to perpetuate this. Look, there's nothing wrong with perpetuating the species, but I don't need it, my bloodline to continue.
I just want to find that critical point.
All right, wait. All right, I just want to interject here. Now, Kenji is basically saying kind of what you're saying there, Daniel, is that if, for example, you could create this world where the state is ended and the future would never include the state, then this is an idea that is intrinsic to you and your belief system and what it is that is your meme of most importance. And although it would be great to have children, maybe there's some times where a meme might overcome the value of a child. But it's a concept of what is going to have future continued growth as far as evolution is concerned.
I don't think the goal of my life, I don't think the most important thing for me is to have children. Maybe I don't even want children. I don't know. To me, that's not the number one value.
Look,
right?
Right.
So?
I think you're malfunctioning, right? I think you're malfunctioning in terms of evolution, in an evolutionary sense, right? If you don't procreate, again, there's family members and other stuff. So at some point, you could, once your sister has a kid or your brother has a kid, you have a close relative.
Well, my brother's not going to have a kid because I don't have one. But I understand your point.
Yeah, it kind of disperses your will to perpetuate yourself. But let's say
why
you're
is
the
that the
last
most important thing? Why is the most important thing spreading
evolution. It's
Because
you'll get wiped out. You'll just get wiped out. That's it.
because
That's the game of nature.
no, the worst thing that people can think of is death. So first of all, they either have to immortalize themselves through some YouTube channel or being famous or whatever. That's the drive to be famed, by the way, is to immortalize yourself so you don't die. And second of all, to have children. This is a simple fear of death. And you know what the thing is that I don't care that death is inevitable. It does not bother me at all. And that's the moment when you know you are living in objective reality, is when you don't care that you're going to die. The only thing that matters is your own happiness and your own objective morality so that you can achieve your ultimate happiness. And the only reason that objectivism is awesome is because it makes you truly happy, like in a way that is indescribable to any other person. That's why
I agree. I think it does come from the fear of death. And look, I mean, I'm going to die, but it happens, and I don't really care. And a funeral is good. Everyone's complimenting you. They feel sad. I hope to give my own.
I don't know what you mean by you don't care about dying. You've accepted the fact that it's going to come.
It's going to happen. But I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's worded in a bad way. It's worded in a bad way that you don't care.
It's even more than that. It's more than the fact.
You've accepted the fact that you're going to die. That's all.
But it's going to happen. So what am I going to do? I'm going to waste my life of being upset that I'm going to die? What a waste of time.
That's the goal. That's what you're supposed to be doing. This whole thing about worrying about the state.
You're supposed to waste your life being afraid.
That's not wasting your life. That's perpetuating yourself the best way you can. That's perpetuating yourself the best. Your life. That's the whole goal of nature. I mean, how can you deny that?
You know what my goals are? Maybe that's your
It doesn't matter what you think your goals are. That's subjective. Okay, what you think your goals are is subjective, right? What you think your goals are is subjective.
Kenshi, we're gonna take turns. All right, Lauren, you had something to say. Lauren, are you gone? Okay, looks like she's gone. All right, so Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think that the goal. Look, there's nothing wrong with perpetuating the species. I'm a big believer in natalism, and I'm a misanthropic natalist. I hate most people, but the more people there are, the better the chances that you'll find some that are not truly rotten. So so I'm not against perpetuating the species, but I don't think that's the goal of life. At least for me, the goal of life isn't to me. It's just to be a rabbit that have kids. Who gives a shit?
Not perpetuating the species, perpetuating yourself, more specific.
I'm dead, and who says my kid's going to be anything like me? And who says my kid's going to perpetuate the species?
There's more of a guarantee of that than anything else, right? Than anything else, other than a clone, right? What other thing can?
I'm not so much of a narcissist.
What's the closest thing that can perpetuate yourself forever?
I don't need to perpetuate myself forever.
That's where your subjective values is that ending the state's more important than perpetuating yourself, and that's where I think you're malfunctioning.
Fine.
And it's obvious. It's obvious because if you don't focus your goals toward that.
How do you what my goals are my goals?
Yeah, it's subjective. That part's subjective, but that doesn't mean you're right.
Okay, Lauren, let's hear you.
I don't get why.
I want to hear Lauren's comments here.
You guys keep talking about what you guys think is real.
Okay, hold on, Kenshi. Let's let Lauren jump on.
Okay, look. First of all, I'm glad that life is finite. Now, I'm not only just accepted death. I'm glad that there is a death. You know why?
Only because you get older. Only because your quality of life deteriorates when you get older, and you don't want
do you want to?
If I could, how other people's minds work.
Do you want to? Or do you want to speculate?
Go ahead.
To tell you why?
Yes.
Because if life is finite, that means that in my existence, I can do awesome things while I'm here, and don't have. That's the thing, is that because it is finite, I am capable of doing amazing things.
And you wouldn't do these things if it was infinite? I don't get it.
I'm driven to do amazing things, and of course you don't get it. You don't get it because
In a short amount of period, well, you have a time constraint, so you feel rushed. Is that the point? Is that your point?
You don't get it because you're
Is that really it? Is that really it?
Of objective reality. That's why you don't get it.
What's that?
You live outside of objective reality. That's why you don't get it.
Okay, so tell me what objective reality is.
Oh God.
Okay. All right.
I'm so glad Kenji is here.
No, but
I do want to clarify something though. I want to that I heard Lauren say earlier. I just want to make sure I heard it. Did you say that having children is demonstrating a fear of death? And if so, how?
Yes, actually, I did. So it's acceptable. I mean, people can choose to have children, but to value your children above yourself is a display of fear of death. The thing is that when you fear death, you want to find any way to perpetuate your life and to keep it going on longer. And one of the ways that people have convinced themselves that they can perpetuate their life and make it go on longer is by having children. So it's the idea of, like he was saying, is it's a clone of yourself. So it's like living on further than your death. And it's total BS. You confused yourself in your mind. It's completely living outside of objective reality because it's not you. And no matter what way you spin it, it's not you. So
it's not me.
No, Kenji, let me ask you this. All right, this is the point that I think Lauren's is communicating here, is that you, as a sentient being, are capable of understanding and comprehending and cogitating on things. You change your world within your own mind by taking what's in objective reality and then running it through your own filters. Okay?
Yeah.
That process ends when you die. And even if you think that it might somehow continue if you have children, it doesn't matter. I mean, your cogitation is ended at the moment you die. So the most important thing to her is, in my understanding, is being able to create environments where you're able to enjoy the benefits that you can contribute, the benefits that other people can contribute to you by providing each other, trade and.
I don't get it. So what's the ultimate objective here? Happiness?
Live, damn it! That's the ultimate objective.
I thought you didn't care about
diem. Carpe diem.
Yes, just like Robin Williams said in Dead Poets Society. And this is so fitting because
but
his
you're gonna die. So
carpe diem. Live now. Get up.
You gotta live now. You gotta do what you're gonna do now and enjoy the fruits of whatever you can.
Kenji, you said, why would you live? Kenji, hold on, let me interrupt you first.
It's 3 against 1. Don't I get 3 times?
Of course. Yeah. Okay, so let Dan talk, and then you got the table.
Yeah,
after that.
Let me talk. I'm an asshole. Okay. Yes, I think if you first of all, who wants to live forever? I'd be bored as hell. But
no.
But
with the internet, I don't. It's pretty hard.
You can only look at porn for so long. But yes, there is a time constraint because I know that I'm only going to be on this earth for a certain amount of time. So I can't. But if I'm here forever, I can just say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. After all, there's an infinite number of tomorrows. But if there's not an infinite number of tomorrows, you're going to, you're not going to procrastinate as much.
All right, now, Kenji, it's your turn, and after you're done, I do have to bring in the comments from the chat gallery, so just go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm just, I don't know, this whole time constraint thing, it's you can quantify, it evolutionary, right? I mean, let's say my objective was, let's say I had perfect knowledge. You did also, right? Everything about us was exactly the same except our objectives. My objective is to perpetuate myself, right? And you guys are to live, carpe diem, whatever.
Oh,
right?
I'm just stuck.
Right. So your objective is carpe diem. If you were to somehow
run a computer-generated simulation
you know,
where it can go on for a very long time.
what behavior and what species do you think would in the long run dominate?
Obviously yours.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Robert got objective truth, right?
Capable of actually creating the thing, which would be us,
What
would
was
be
that?
the ones that would perpetuate.
What was that? Say that again.
You're talking about a system created so that you can perpetuate your life through a robot.
I don't know. Did I bring up any system? You mean the simulation?
Maybe I misunderstood. I did.
Yeah, that's okay. Right now we're going to go ahead and just take some of the comments that are from the peanut gallery, and we're going to just go ahead and throw them out there. Let's see. Tom the Hun says, perspective is everything, boys. Pessoa de Gama says, memetrics is what you're talking about, right? And Tom the Hun adds, a cylinder can be viewed as a rectangle or a circle or a cylinder, depending upon which angle or perspective that you look at it. So truth or facts. Ditto.
No, bullshit.
There's specific there's mathematical definitions of cylinders.
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit.
Perception is bullshit. Yeah, perception is different than
reality exists. Truth isn't based on what view you take. That's bullshit. This idea.
Truth depends on definition.
This idea that there's no objective truth is just a way for you to say I'm never wrong. It's just a way for you to say I'm never wrong because there's no truth. It's a coward's response. It's like the people who say morals are relative. That's just an excuse for you to act immorally.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a nice little response.
You're such an objectivist.
I know. I'm an objectivist.
All right. So Pessoa de Gama says, I think Rothschild's internet history says genetics still wants to be propagated.
I don't know what the hell that means.
Well, apparently he's saying that Rothschild agrees with Kenshi.
I don't agree with Kenshi.
Well, okay, and
there's some things that are true. I probably disagree with him.
Okay,
give it some thought.
So Tom the Hun says nature and humans are very different. In how let's see, how
natures and human are very different. I seem to have trouble separating the two.
We're part of nature. That is ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah,
okay,
humans are part of nature, absolutely.
Come on, don't give that any credence.
We're animals too, so I don't want.
Yeah. I call BS. None of you ever died to make any statements about what happens after one dies.
How do you know? Maybe I did die. You don't know my life.
You're here, man. You're not dead.
Huh?
We can see you. You're not dead. Sorry.
Hey, wait, Robert. But I'm an angel.
Wait, no, you're
a devil.
You're a circle. No. All right.
Maybe you're a devil because you're an objectivist, right? I mean.
I'm going back to this whole thing.
Angel.
Kenji, how many children do you want?
Where's that stupid?
How many? There's probably a point where raising your kids becomes pretty diluted when you have so many, right? Usually, the lower IQ you have, the more
kids you're gonna have.
Yeah, what's that word? When they whatever, like roaches, right? So because they're dumber, propagate. Right? No, not propagate, but there's a word for something that reproduces a lot, like roaches. But the lower IQ you have, the more children you have because they're dumber. So you need a lot more just to ensure that they survive. Now, yeah, you'll see like a negative correlation between IQ and number of kids you have.
All right. Well.
Maybe you're so smart. Maybe you're so smart, Daniel. You don't need kids. There's a correlation.
I'm so smart. I don't need kids.
I'm not gonna have kids.
What did you say, Lauren?
I'm smart. I'm not gonna have kids.
There you go. No, but I'm just kidding.
Lauren,
there's obviously a critical point that you at least need to have one, right?
Lauren, do you not want children?
Wait, I'm not gonna get married, and I'm not gonna have kids. I'm gonna be a dink.
A dink?
What's a dink?
Double income.
You do realize that horny women are objectively true, right?
What is that?
No, I was referring to the horns. I said you do realize that horny women are objectively hot, right?
We all love horny women, even us angels.
Wait.
Lauren, do you really not want children?
What?
You really not want children?
No, I don't want children, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't want children either.
And
You guys are in the vast minority.
But I
Yes,
don't.
I want it to end with me.
I don't want to get married either.
You guys have
yeah,
family? You guys have family?
Someone half your shit.
I don't get along with my family.
Not having kids causes depression in a lot of people. It's not a mistake that.
No, if you're
Really? Because I think
you need kids when you're happy. How pathetic is that?
Daniel,
No.
I think having children. Hold on. I think having children causes depression in a lot of people. So I think your
Come on.
statistics are off.
Oh, of course it does.
Go ahead.
Yeah, postmortem.
because I guarantee you that there's a higher depression rate in the people that don't have children than the people
You
that
don't
do.
need. First of all,
No, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Hold on. I'm going to look it up.
I can bet.
First of all, you shouldn't have children just because you want to feel happier. Why the hell is that fair?
Well, what is that? Happiness is nature's mechanism, just like pain. Just like pain is a mechanism. Happiness is a meter just to tell you how you're doing perpetuating yourself.
That's normal.
Happiness is just like pain, right? You can overcome it with your happiness is just a mechanism, right?
Fine,
it's not the end. It's not the ends. It's not the end all be all.
I want it to end with me. I'm glad Lauren agrees.
We all do too.
Well,
But the problem with talking about happiness is that, particularly in relation to morals, or what ought to do is that happiness cannot be measured.
No,
let's
say it's subjective, but happiness is a mechanism, right? It's a mechanism to tell you how well you're doing perpetuating yourself. You get into depressions because you're not fulfilling that objective I'm talking about, not what you guys are carpe diem.
Okay.
Right?
Really?
All right, Kenshi, let's just.
Hold on, wait. I got scientific evidence. Hold on one second. So,
Or postpartum depression.
I smell bullshit.
What the hell is postpartum depression?
oh my God, stop. Okay, so the Blaze says in a 2011 study that according to some researchers, the commonly held belief that having children is a surefire way to emotional fulfillment is being turned on its head, as recent studies show that,
Surefire way.
that children do anything but increase levels of personal happiness. Oh.
Wait, sorry, what was that last part?
They do anything but increase levels of personal happiness.
What is this from?
The Blaze. And it was confirmed by CNN. So.
Okay. Must be true then, right?
All right. Look. Here's the deal.
Sorry, what sources are you using?
I don't know the fact that most people choose to have children.
What do you mean? Maybe by accident. You don't know that.
Stupid.
By accident? But you can see objectively the genes will go extinct if they don't.
And most people like McDonald's.
That's objective. And so will all the behavior that's embedded in their genetics. Right? And any component of behavior that's embedded in genetics will be lost. Right?
It's a preference. Having children is a preference.
So
And it makes
but preferences can be wrong or right.
All right.
No, that's what makes them preferences.
Oh, sorry. Wrong or right in the sense of survivability.
Okay. Well, look.
I got it right.
As far as the objective reality thing goes, I'm kind of with Kenshi in the idea that my understanding of what it is that is life, the purpose of life, is to basically fight against what's called heat death, or the entropy problem, and it is the universe's way of trying to put an end to that process of destruction of the universe.
Black holes. That's what black holes are for.
Now, this is a You know, I've not studied this particular thing that well, but bottom line is, to me, I understand the point that, yes, you want to propagate yourself. Now, I don't think that Kenshi is right in the way that genetics is by far superior to mean generation.
It's only because part of behavior is embedded in genetics.
Right, but the thing is that genetics has brought us to this level where we're able to actually create something more effective than genetics. Okay, we are actually at the point where ideas actually can proliferate throughout societies for ages and ages and eons.
Yes, yeah, I agree that it might change the game a little, but at this point it'd take some convincing. Yeah, but I don't disagree with that. You'd have to convince me a little more, but until then it's just too primal that
well, you're just a barbarian beast that just wants to screw everything, but that's okay. Just kidding.
No. How can you?
I'm just joking, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. We're on the after hours.
Someone might take that seriously, though.
I know, but that's the point. This is the after hours show. It's not like, you know, just super serious and everything. We're not doing the serial thing, you know.
You could tell by your hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, hold on. Ayn Rand was wrong. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, what's the point of having cake if you can't eat it?
Who drew on me?
All right, so I'd like to move us on to a different topic. I'm going to have us move on to a different topic. I'd like to talk about
after the show.
Idea of wealth creation. Okay, the idea that wealth is created through a process of having jobs. Jobs is not wealth creation. And so when Lauren... Hey, Daniel, frickin' stop with the frickin' noises. All right, so let's talk about wealth creation. I mean, realistically, when it comes to creating wealth, you are a more wealthy person when you've satisfied your desires. Is that correct?
When you've perpetuated yourself.
No. We're done with that topic. We're going on to wealth creation. You had some comments that were on a particular thread that we were talking, where you said that it's actually production.
Don't conflate production with jobs. I didn't mean that either.
Oh, I know, but I was going to Lauren's concept. Woo!
At the beach! Oh my god, what did you put on me?
All right, where are these sounds coming from? I don't understand.
You'll never know.
Probably.
It's not me.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we got sounds. There they are.
I have so much stuff on me you can't even see. Oh my god.
All right. Well then.
Alright. How do I... Oh, I can randomize.
Now turn off the stuff.
You want me to take the hat off you, Lauren?
Yes, please. And the glasses.
Here, hold on. Let me figure this out.
Let me figure this out.
Lauren, you gotta turn your stuff off yourself.
No, I'm doing it.
How are you manipulating her stuff?
He's drawing on me.
Oh, it's the Draw app?
Yeah, it's the drawing one.
All right.
Okay. I gotta take this background off, too. Okay. Alright, the only thing that's left is my love.
Okay. All right.
Love is all you need.
So just so that we can be clear, all right. How is wealth created?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, take it off, Daniel. So wealth is really okay. Wealth is
fine. I'll take it off. What? Oops. Sorry about that. All right, go ahead. All right.
I need to be taken seriously, Daniel. It's all I have left.
Sorry.
Okay. So wealth is, I mean, what are you talking about? Like personal wealth?
No, wealth as in just generally like increasing the amount of wealth that a society possesses, whether it be individual or societal.
Well, society can't increase its wealth. I mean, that would be applying socialism, and we all know socialism doesn't work. We don't need to debate that. Everybody that's watching the show right now either loves or hates socialism, and they're not going to be swayed. So that's pretty much how it works with these shows. So I'm not going to talk about that aspect of it. Societies cannot increase their wealth. You can't do that. Wealth is individual, and wealth. Well, I like to view wealth as basically how your life is going and your happiness. I like to think that people are rich in happiness. And how you are rich in happiness is living your life based on objective reality and having objective morals based on that reality, identifying reality and saying this is reality and this is what I want, and working between those two to make sure that you get what you want. Now, if you're talking about monetary wealth, which is a tool for happiness but not happiness itself, you can buy happiness, but money itself is not happiness. But money is a tool, and if you want to increase your wealth, I mean, get a job.
All right. Well, the thing that Peter Schiff has said and Tom Woods has said, and I completely agree with, is that wealth is created by a process of converting something that had less utility into something that has more utility. Now, wealth can be created by a natural phenomenon, like if you had an earthquake where you had a swamp that now has a cliff that can, produces a waterfall that can provide enjoyment for more people instead of a cesspool, and you also have potentially potable water, all these things that could be enjoyed by people, and therefore it falls into the objective self-satisfaction thing, but it also falls into just in general that there is something that is doing things that people want more. I guess it's all about the objective self-pursuit that what people want is more satisfied. So when we take, for example, 30 cubic feet of lumber and convert it into a home where a person is now out of the rain and the elements and is more satisfied and enjoying their life, that's certainly better than just having it sitting there on a pallet. And so wealth has been created by this conversion. And it is the conversion of things into more useful means that wealth is created. But Kenshi, you had a different perspective on that than I did.
Yeah, well, not really. It's just a different wording. It's the amount of production of goods this is society / individual can produce it. That's all.
Okay, so the big thing is that you're saying that demand is endless. I guess everybody would agree that if you ordered a dinner at a restaurant and they could bring out a steak and they said, well, would you like some béarnaise sauce to go with that? If you like béarnaise sauce, then obviously you'd be happy to have that as an add-on, and your demand would be satisfied more. And then if they said, well, what we can also do is we can feed your sibling that's sitting next to you, or your spouse or child or a friend of yours for the same price, then we would be happy to go ahead and expand our demand to that particular level. And then if they said, well, we can feed every single person on the planet for the same price, well, damn, I'm perfectly, I'd like to see that happen. That would be cool. All these demands that we can have, is I want to actually ask the panel, every single one of you, would you say that your demands are limitless? That all the things that you can think of, if they were satisfied immediately, could you think of something else that would be satisfied, that you could ask for, that you would like to see satisfied, that wouldn't be satisfied?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty low-key. I mean, I think I could satisfy, theoretically, all my demands if I had unlimited resources.
No,
That's unlimited. I'm talking about, let's just say that you could satisfy all the demands you could come up with at this very moment, and then 2 seconds later, I asked you the same question, and would you have another thing to add to it?
Well, I mean, look, I don't know. What are my demands? Living in Venice, traveling, you know, maybe owning a horse. I like horseback riding. Not being poor, but, you know, yeah. I don't know. I guess my demands aren't so much.
We're humans. We're dissatisfied by nature. I mean, we're going to be dissatisfied no matter what we have. There's always, even the richest people, even the people with everything in the world that they could ever dream of, if you give somebody everything in the world they could ever dream of, they're going to find something else to dream of.
Well, I don't think I would want, to me, rich and famous, that to me is like a curse. I would never want that, because then everyone's using you and you don't know if everyone likes you, and I want privacy. I wouldn't want to walk down the street. To me, being a celebrity, those celebrities in Hollywood, to me that's the worst life ever. Just walking down the street and everyone's constantly harassing you, and you don't get any privacy, and you need a bodyguard when you want to take a piss.
Really?
That's not fun.
Really, Daniel? Because I find it fabulous.
Yeah, you're a celebrity. You're a celebrity. Delusion, it's a powerful tool.
I'm totally joking.
I know, that's why I'm making fun of you. But no, but you, come on, Lauren, would you want to be a celebrity? You probably hate it, right?
No.
Right, but wouldn't you have a demand for more of what it is that you desire than...
I guess. Well, look, everyone's values are different, obviously. I want,
I got the answer.
You want your privacy. Okay, so imagine if you could have your privacy
the answer.
and have people more satisfied so they leave you alone. I mean, would you be happier?
Look, to be honest, I don't even use urinals. When I go to the bathroom, I don't want some guy standing next to me when I piss. I go to the stall, so I like my privacy.
Daniel?
Yeah?
The answer is no, because there are always new things being created, and eventually one of those will spark your interest, and you'll want that too.
No, I agree, yeah.
Also, you got to consider not for yourself, but for your future generations. You can provide...
Which I'm not having?
Well, that's the minority.
Right, but I count.
No, it's not the minority.
What I do counts.
Okay, look, if we're going to talk about the procreation of the species at all right, we're going to talk about the minority of the unwashed.
You guys are only considering the demand for yourself at the time.
Whoa! So selfish! How horrible!
Your savings can go toward your children and stuff. So I'm just bringing up a point that it opens up another facet. Because Daniel, your demands are pretty limited. So
I agree with Gore Vidal. Gore Vidal said never have children, only grandchildren. That's my claim.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So to make sure I understand the question correctly that way I can answer, the question is: given we're still working in a world of scarce resources, right? First of all, let me
theoretically, yeah.
Well,
okay.
yeah.
So the question is, if I can think of anything, or dream of anything, and it be satisfied, and you ask me the question again, would there be anything else for me to satisfy? Just to make sure I asked the question. Did I restate the question correctly?
Okay, if you satisfied all of the things that you could think of right now, everything that you had as a desire was immediately satisfied, 2 seconds later, could you think of something else that you would like to have satisfied?
Probably, because
numbers
2
are
seconds later,
right?
I'd probably be hungry or thirsty again, so...
No, your initial...
Oh my god! Oh my god!
All right, so everybody just fess up. I'm drinking this. What are you guys drinking?
Gimlet! Jim Gimlet, Jeffrey Tucker style.
And
Nice.
Kenzie, of course, as soon as he has a kid, he's like, I need another one. Boom.
I didn't say kids. I didn't say kids, man.
You want to breed like rabbits, right?
No, of course
No,
not.
he wants to spread his seed in, in
You
fertile
masturbate
ground.
in the garden.
No,
Fertile ground. Fertile ground.
no. I want to raise my kids too. If I have too many kids, I won't be.
It's Kenji.
But my point was, you can
Wait,
say,
it's
there's
Kenshi, right?
what's that?
It's Kenshi, right?
Yeah.
I hope you never get married so you can procreate a lot.
Yeah. Why don't you go to a sperm bank, Kenji?
No,
Again,
dude, he's saying that he wants to procreate not just his genetics.
I want to raise them too.
He wants to raise them. He wants to create clones.
I'm sorry.
That's the best. At current technology, that's the closest thing you're gonna get to cloning.
They make
I know.
They really make loud noises, and they're really smelly. No thanks.
Maybe he's
That's
Why don't you-
just the beginning. That's just the cost. The
Kenji,
payoff is what's worth it, right?
Kenji,
When they grow up and take care of your ass, when they grow up and take care of your ass, give you all those enjoyments of life. You spend family time with them. You come to me and tell me those stinky loud stuff again. All those stinky loud comments.
Kenji, I just have 2 words for
I'd
you.
rather travel. Yeah.
I just have 2 words for you, Kenji. 3D printers.
You can have a resin kit. I don't get it.
Yeah.
They're actually coming out with printers that can print using other materials that can actually,
Organic?
yes, organic. They
Have a
print.
room full of babies.
Sentient?
They
Can I
have
print out a
printed
brain?
Babies do smell, but that's not.
So zeitgeist is correct then, right?
No. Okay, all right. If we're going to talk about zeitgeist, I mean, we really need to trash that for
I'm just
philosophy.
joking.
Yeah, they're fucking retards.
All right, look. Incentives create reality. And if you create situations where incentives are no longer valuable, then you have no growth. And the same thing has been tried time and time again, where, from the Plymouth colony to the Soviet Union to Cuba. All right, if you create a situation where there's some sort of systematic, we're going to choose what's best. The system is going to choose what's best for your consumption. You don't create opportunities for improvements in technology. It just doesn't happen that way. But look, this idea that we're talking about, that Kenji is talking about, this idea that procreating, I just want to make it clear, he's not talking about just having children. He's talking about taking the thoughts that are you, the things that make you you, the you that is, whether it be thoughts or genetics, is an imperative that if you are successful and a giver, so to speak, because you are producing something that everybody needs and everybody wants, then it's best that you go ahead and create systems that will propagate that. And whether it's children, because that tends to be the norm for human beings, because fucking's normal, but it could be more so about creating YouTube videos that propagate your ideas to the rest of society in the future and can create future children that will understand the world that they live in better because of your contribution, and they will get the things through their head in the same way that you got it through your head. And those people who are the most successful in doing this will tend to improve the society as a rule. And if I'm not illustrating your concept correctly here, Kenshi, correct me, but I think that you do need to drop the genetic procreation thing, because it's Stefan Molyneux might have had a kid and she might turn out to be great, but quite frankly his contribution to the philosophy of thought is far more wide-reaching and will have more durability than his child ever will.
Yeah, but he's an exception to the rule, right? I mean, you'd have to be so extraordinary to transcend your genetics. I'm not saying that cannot be the case in
So you're
very
just talking
special.
about the miscellaneous plebes that are out there.
Where you want to put it? I mean, I mean, not all of us have charisma, right? I mean, very few of us.
Well, I
mean,
know that I can work on it. I know that you can work on it. I know that
you can't generalize a special rule, a very special rule.
Charisma.
Charisma, attractiveness.
Yes, the ability to have
Lauren, you've got that in spades.
people adopt your memes.
So let Kenji define charisma.
The ability to convince people to adopt your memes or ideas. And memes are non-genetic things that are handed down.
I don't think anybody has anybody adopt all of their ideas. So no one is charismatic by your definition.
No, charismatic is adopting a portion at least of some.
Oh, I'm just being argumentative.
Oh, well, that's perfectly fine.
I could define it too.
Look, all right.
I can also define the source of my wanting.
Well, I'm hoping that you're intoxicated enough to actually answer this question, because.
But you know, just the idea of just exploring the idea of Molyneux. I mean, you go back to that simulation thing. It's, Stefan is gone. Let me give it some thought. That's pretty abstract. Go ahead.
All right. Well, just for the on a side, I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope for the best. I'm going to ask Lauren a question here. All right, Lauren, you had a show called True Objective. It was with a person that I find a great amount of respect for, and this show disappeared. And I think it was a damn shame, because you guys were freaking putting out some great stuff. Later on in conversation, the person that you were working with indicated perhaps animosity towards the fact that the women of the libertarian movement are given far more deference and given a platform to speak on because of their gender instead of their their philosophical groundedness. And I wonder if that was a backlash against you, or was that a backlash against Kathy Riesenwitz?
He said what specifically?
That I find it annoying that
we're given more airtime.
Women
let Robert say.
That basically that women in this particular movement are granted more airtime to or just thrown up on pedestals because of their gender, not necessarily because of their philosophical underpinnings. And I don't think he was necessarily talking about you, but I do know that your show stopped around the same time, so perhaps it was some sort of like dig, and I didn't know whether it was or not. So my question is that was it a dig at you, or was it just a general well, why are people like Kathy Riesenwitz being put up on ABC broadcast television in her local neighborhood, whereas people who have been working towards this, like myself, have not? I don't know. I mean, was there a fallout between you and this other person?
So no. I don't think that would have anything to do with me.
Okay.
If you ever listen to the show, Carlos definitely talked a lot more than I did.
Awesome. All right. I just wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have this major fallout. My God.
I mean, Carlos and I are really good friends. We wish each other the best. I see him all the time. The thing is that I think Carlos really wanted to focus on his book that he's doing right now. And he's writing a book about being a CPS whistleblower, just in case he is caught. So Carlos Morales in case he goes to jail, at least he'll have a book, unless in case the government decides to come out against him, because what he's doing is, technically illegal. I mean, for him to unveil all of this information, but he's put the kids first, and he has. I respect him so highly, and I think that respect is very mutual. I don't think we would have started the show if it hadn't been mutual.
Awesome.
I wish him the very best in the world. He's one of my good friends, and no, it had nothing to do with us whatsoever.
Okay. Awesome. I'm so pleased to hear that. I saw the interaction. Like, it was a Three's Company moment where you're like, well, I misheard this and I misheard that, and the situation is this, so I gotta assume that.
I've heard all sorts of rumors, like that Carlos and I were dating and we broke up, or he had a monogamous girlfriend the whole time that we were doing that show. She's really sweet. We're good friends. It had nothing to. I was not dating Carlos. Most people are aware that I'm polyamorous, but I was not dating Carlos. We are just good friends, and he just had some stuff he wanted to do, and he didn't have the time to do the show. And really, honestly, I really didn't have time to do the show anymore. Hence the fact that I haven't started it back up again, because I was going to do it with Bitcoin Not Bombs and MK Lords. I was going to do it with MK Lords, but unfortunately that has not panned out yet. But maybe at some point when my life gets a little less hectic. I've been actually really sick lately, so but that's
okay,
further out.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So Cody Limbaugh has joined the After Hours crew, and I understand that he's been watching the show from the YouTubes. So Cody, is there anything that you wanted to comment on before we go on to the next topic?
Sort of. I actually am just here for the cake. Actually, I'm here to class the joint up. When I got on, I saw boxed wine, and so I just thought I'd light up a fine cigar. And I've got some bourbon barrel aged micro distilled rum from my hometown. You can't see that, of Joseph, Oregon. Anyway, I brought the good shit to the party, but I unfortunately don't have much to contribute because I got on when all hell broke loose. That's where I picked up on the show.
Cody?
What's that?
Your children?
I have 3. Look how successful I am.
Kenzie, see that?
Oh, what's your point?
See, he's doing a good job, right?
He's fulfilling your truth of reality.
if you're not Stefan Molyneux and don't have kids, then best be Cody Limbaugh.
What do you mean? Stefan Molyneux only has 1 kid. That shouldn't be good enough for you.
I'm just kidding. If you're Stefan Molyneux, not have kids. If there was a Stefan Molyneux equivalent with no kids.
What do you mean? Stefan Molyneux shouldn't be having kids?
No.
I think what Kenji is saying is that I'm.
I get it, you bigot.
No, I'm 3 times less effective than Stefan Molyneux, so I have to have 3 kids to be as successful as the philosopher king. Yeah.
I think you said you're like Stefan Molyneux because you have the same hair color.
Reflective.
What did you say, Lauren?
I'm pouring a drink and spilling it.
That is very rational.
I know, and I'm smoking.
Awesome, smoking is awesome.
Yep.
We can see you on camera doing the smoking.
It's objectively good. I've got gin all over my hand. Okay, look, here's the thing, guys, is that it is objectively past my bedtime.
You only have half an hour to go.
And you're drunk.
I'm not drunk.
That's all drunk people say they're not drunk.
Daniel, you just wish I were drunk.
I'm not drunk. There. Yeah.
Just call me Rump. Just call me Rump.
No, we never would do that. Never. Never. All right. So,
that is Miss Low Rump to you.
all right, Lauren. I want you to just give us the emotions that you have. I know you're gonna like objectivist girl, like make it all logical and all that shit. But really, I mean, what did your how did you feel about the true, the knowledge that an amazing artist such as Robin Williams would have done what he did? I mean, what was that for you?
Oh no, are we gonna bring this up again? I'm gonna cry. Like I almost.
That's the point.
I almost cried on Voluntary Virtues. I mean, crying. That's the thing is that emotional expression can be very rational. The problem is that people use emotions to gauge reality, and that's not good. I'm not gauging reality. I already know that objectively he was one, if not the best actor that ever lived. I mean, he was up there with Charlie Chaplin and Robert De Niro. Like, Robert De Niro is like, him and Jack Nicholson are really all that we have left. Really.
Tom Hanks, come on.
Paul Newman.
No, what? No, he's
God put that man in the same category as Robin Williams.
Tom Hanks is always some nice guy. Robin Williams can do everything.
He's a nice guy.
I'll give you Tom Hanks. I'll give you Tom Hanks.
I don't have one movie that I like Robin Williams. The closest thing is Good Will Hunting. That's the closest thing to a decent movie.
What do you mean, Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, God.
No, things may come.
Compared to Paul Newman?
You shouldn't be allowed to have children.
Just go to let's do this bet. Just go to IMDb, find the top movie, and see who comes up first.
Oh my God!
You know that the masses are already predisposed to doing the right thing.
What was that?
Well, we already know that the masses are predisposed to choosing.
Cool Hand Luke, come on!
What Cool Hand Luke? That's Paul Newman.
What's that?
That's Paul Newman, not Robin Williams.
Oh no, I'm just saying he's better than Robin Williams. I mentioned Paul Newman. He's better than Robin Williams.
Slapshot was a great movie, though.
All his stuff was. He's better. He's better than. I didn't like Robin Williams.
He was a great artist. He was an amazing.
He was an overactor to me. I don't know.
Who is?
Robin Williams, especially when it came to comedy, man. I couldn't stand the guy.
Wow.
Except Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy. That's probably it. Otherwise, I couldn't stand the guy. I couldn't stand the guy.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
He was too much.
Kenji, you've obviously gone a little bit overboard on this thing because if you're not willing to see the things that he has done with What Dreams May Come, with
I never saw that. I heard that wasn't very good.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is not up for debate. Robin Williams was the greatest actor that ever.
What was his best?
No, Steve
and Brahms is better than Mozart.
Might be better.
What the hell? What did he win his Oscar for? Dead Poets Society?
No, he won it for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Dead Poets Society in and of itself makes him the best actor ever.
That sucked.
Wow. Okay. Again, Kenshi, get out.
Look.
With all due respect to his death, man, but I hated his movies.
Well,
except Good Will Hunting, that was decent.
You already admitted you haven't seen. Okay, have you seen The World According to Garp?
That is a great movie.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Getting a blowjob in the front seat of a car, though, is not smart.
But I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of others.
What about The Fisher King? Have you seen The Fisher King?
Yeah, that's the bad ones like that. I don't even remember the
Fisher King. You thought The Fisher King was bad?
Yeah.
The Fisher King is a great movie. It's about finding the Holy Grail.
He's just trying to be him.
I like Indiana Jones for
that. He's trying to disagree for the sake.
What's your favorite Indiana Jones? The last one?
All right. Well, you need to add some hair stuff to some sort of add-ons there, Lauren. The laughing would be far more cool if you had the pirate gear.
You guys are bullies, man. Bullies.
Bullies? We're not bullies. Look, we're
just
joking. No.
Just joking.
We're not bullies. We are not bullies. We live in objective reality. We just point it out when people don't. That does
All right,
not
look.
Right.
Look,
Okay.
all right, well, geez, damn. Oh, this is so hard. I'm like,
What are your favorite movies, anyways? It's some bad taste.
I'm tempted to like share the video that I put
What is
together.
my favorite movie? My favorite movies you've never heard of.
Try me.
My favorite movie of all time would be Happiness.
I think I've seen that. Remind me who's in it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It was the black guy that killed all the aliens in.
The black guy in Happiness? What the hell are you talking about?
What?
He's talking about Will Smith.
Will Smith.
He wasn't in that movie. Will Smith wasn't in that movie.
movie
They're
talking
actually-
about.
You're talking about the road to happiness.
My guy Wilson.
You're talking about, oh my, that's not the movie I'm talking about.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is the guy who died, right?
Yeah, you didn't like him either, right?
No, I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah, Schenectady, New York, that's a fucking great movie.
No, haven't seen it.
I know what movie talking about that movie, Businessman. When he had the child.
Yeah. That's the one Robert's referring to.
What movie? What movie?
Happiness. Or Road to Happiness, or whatever it's
No,
called.
I'm talking about Happiness. You're talking about the state of happiness or something.
Yeah,
And
something
happiness
like that.
is Why?
Pursuit of happiness.
Invention of lying.
Happiness by Todd Solondz. He did Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Oh man.
No, those are obscure for a reason. I guess.
This has gone down the
I
drain.
know, Kenji. I know what your favorite movie is.
No, you don't.
I do.
You probably never heard of it.
Birdemic,
Oh.
right?
Right. We've
No.
never heard of it because you're so hip and we're not.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
movie? What's your Manos, the Hands of Fate?
No, I've seen that on Mystery Science Theater. Was it? There's two. It's To Live and Lives of Others.
Oh, The Lives of Others. The movie,
East German. Yeah.
the foreign film.
Yeah, East German.
Yeah. And what was the other one?
To Live, and I guess domestically Shawshank Redemption. That's
Oh,
it.
Shawshank Redemption's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually prefer The Green Mile.
Oh, that's horrible.
What do you mean?
No wonder you like Robin Williams. That is horrible.
What do you mean? Green Mile's a great movie.
Green Mile is like he's trying to play off. It's like he's trying to make a sequel to Shawshank Redemption. It's horrible. Horrible.
Lauren, what do you think? As an objective,
Horrible. Horrible.
Lauren, what do you think as an objectivist?
What do I
Go to IMDb. Go on
What do you
IMDb.
think about Green Mile?
I wasn't allowed to watch Green Mile as a kid, and I still haven't seen it.
Oh my God. The scene with the sponge.
What?
Electrocution.
It's a powerful movie.
I heard that. I heard it's really
About a big black guy with magic powers.
Look, it's about sacrifice, dumbass.
Oh, Cody.
And there's magic. There's magic in there. It's pretty gay.
Cody's taking it out, guys. Yeah,
What?
come on, Cody, let's go.
Oh wait, Lauren, weren't you gonna like try to like create some sort of like situation where I could just hand you like my box of Frenzia,
Yeah, that'd be great.
and then you could just like take it and like pass it on.
You
All
should
right.
watch To Live, Daniel.
Watching that show,
Watch To Live, you guys.
were you really watching me on the Beer and Bullshit show?
Yes, absolutely. I was live.
God,
Absolutely.
such
Without a
What
doubt.
show? What show?
Watch To Live. It's by
No, that's not what we're talking about.
no.
I'm gonna check it out, Lauren. What's the show?
I don't want anybody to know about that show. That was a bad idea.
Robert, message me privately.
It was freaking awesome. I loved it. And Lauren
That
was
sounds like a moron.
she was
What?
so hammered. Oh my God, it was beautiful. Look, Lauren. Bottom line is that you're freaking kick-ass when you're sober and you're kick-ass when you're drunk. So cheers. And Kenshi, you know what? You're really stimulating when you're sober, and you really never talk to me when you're drunk. So Cheers. And Daniel, you're just freaking whack. I love you all the time. And Cody.
And I'm always sober. How fucked up is that?
Yeah, what the fuck? And then Cody,
This
thanks
is me sober.
for doing the whole thing.
Is this me sober? Are you sober?
He's sober right now. He's
I heard sober.
I'm sober.
Oh, you know what? The freaking weirdest thing ever happened. I was talking. We were doing the anarchist experience, and I'm going on about. All right, well, blah blah blah, and all the money that we get from the Koch and the Koch brothers is just so much, and they're like, him and the guest that he brought on, both are being funded by the Koch brothers. They both are receiving money. Yeah, and I'm just like. Well, that just totally undermined what the fuck I was talking about.
It's a conspiracy, man. Go, it's a conspiracy.
Do you like that guy I invited, by the way?
Who? What?
Robert, did you like the guy I invited?
Absolutely. What was his name again?
Joe. You should have him on again. Joe Kent. He's a nice guy.
Absolutely. And I thought Joe was a perfect gentleman and a little bit quiet, though. I would have liked him to talk up a little bit more. But, I mean, the fact that I'm trying to make a point by saying, we're not funded by the Koch brothers, and then you guys say, well, I get money from Koch brothers.
Yeah, I do. I do.
But, yeah, that kind of undermined where I was coming from a little bit.
Sorry, maybe we should have kept quiet.
Hold on. Daniel, you get money from the Koch brothers?
Oh yeah, I'm a Koch fellow.
Wait, your show?
No, my job.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Maybe he can hook you up, Lauren, and then you can just undermine your credibility too.
I've got a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy where I am.
What do you do?
I work for the Atlas Society.
The what?
The Atlas Society.
Oh,
like
nice.
Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
Oh my God! How have they taken to your anarchistic perspective?
They respect me as a separate entity, but they don't. They're not involved with that at all. My Objectivist girl stuff is entirely separate. But I'm an intern there, so I love it. It's awesome.
What do you do for them?
Intern?
Yeah. What do you do in turn?
Anything they ask me to, which could be from coffee to phone calls to paperwork.
It's a fancy job title for secretary.
You know what? If anything, you know what? I would love to have you as my intern.
It's a very fancy job title for
Gopher.
learning the field so that you can get an awesome position.
You have to start somewhere.
Most people start as interns at a company. You don't normally come in.
That's true.
All right. Now, critically here, Lauren, as far as the people that are in the Objectivist community, who would you say is your greatest ally when it comes to understanding that having the market forces and the freedom to choose who your provider of security is, the anarchist, position, who is your greatest ally in that community that you're dealing with?
Oh, Wes Bertrand.
Wes Bertrand.
Yeah.
So, what's Wes Bertrand done that we should know about?
Wes Bertrand made me an anarchist.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, that's not acceptable. I thought that Rothschild and Cody and I and Mike Shanklin, on the Voluntary Virtues Network, we were talking with you, hanging out, and just pegging you pound with various questions, and you finally came out. So
I came out on your show. I came out for the very first time on your show, but I was already an anarchist. I just hadn't told anyone yet.
You were in the closet.
Yeah, I came out of the closet.
We made you come out of the closet.
But it was Wes Bertrand who convinced me.
Do your parents know that you're an anarchist?
Yes.
How do they feel?
They're afraid. They think that means terrorist.
They're probably more upset you're an atheist, right? They're probably more upset you're an atheist, right? Because they're religious, right?
Lauren, does that mean you're terrorist?
Did they actually say that shit to you?
No, they don't.
No, they were. My mom took it about the same way she took atheism. Well, Lauren, I hope you figure it out.
Yeah. My parents are so condescending. I hate it. But
well, that's what that was. It was like, bless your heart. You know, it was like, Lauren, I hope you figure it out.
yeah, my parents are like, that's cute.
Yeah, that's basically what they were saying. That's cute. I hope you figure it out eventually.
Yeah, it's annoying.
All right. Just so we can just involve Kenji one more time. Kenji, you are an anarchist, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you
I made him an anarchist.
you find significant
Actually,
flaws
partially
with
true.
the Zeitgeist movement and the ANCOM position.
What was that? Say that
You
again?
find significant flaws within the Zeitgeist movement and the Venus Project and ANCOM positions or RB.
Yeah, same as all you do. But I also find flaws in the Austrian school. So I don't like their aversion to like mathematical models. Not as far as statistics and stuff, but as far as
That's old Austrian school. I mean, as far as I understand it, if I'm not mistaken, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, the Austrian school, as far as it's developed now, is basically like, yeah, you know what, you can create models that will be bad and good or whatever, but truth be told, if you create accurate models, our truths will be shown. But the problem is that you can never convince everybody that this is the accurate model in order to achieve what it is that you're talking about. Is that about right? Somebody talk to me.
I'm sorry. We're talking about the fact that literally now means figuratively.
That's not a joke. That's not a joke, by the way. Merriam-Webster actually changed the definition. I shit you not.
They're such trolls.
So ridiculous. I know. I posted that on my Facebook, and someone commented. Now, does that mean to borrow now means to lend?
All right. Look,
I'm sorry, Robert. What the heck were you saying, dear?
what I'm saying is that as far as the Austrian school goes, the aversion to systematic models of how things work have been, we're willing to let that go a little bit. We're willing to understand that, all right, well, yeah, if we're going to go ahead and have a discussion, we should actually look at models. And the fact is that the models prove Austrian economics. It's not like...
Have you read Jeffrey Tucker's article about that? Or did you? I'm sorry, his speech. He did a speech
I have
about.
not read...
the classical model.
Probably look at Jeffrey Tucker and Austrian economics. He finally came out and pointed out some of the flaws.
Oh, okay.
I knew he disagreed a little bit with Austrian economics for a while, but he's been having a hard time coming out about it. And,
Oh, is that why I left the Mises Institute?
What?
Is that why he left the Mises Institute?
Did
No,
he?
I think he left the Mises Institute for financial gain.
Oh. He's a nice guy. I saw him over the summer.
Yeah.
He was going to do karaoke, but he didn't end up. He was going to sing Lady Gaga, but he didn't end up doing it.
We talk frequently.
He's a nice guy.
Every time we see each other, we have some gin gimlets. But he had a hard time coming out about disagreeing with some aspects of Austrian economics. And with the advent of Bitcoin, it's apparently they conflict. I haven't updated myself on it, so.
Yeah, that intrinsic value thing. That's another one of I have a problem with.
There's
Yeah,
no
but-
intrinsic value to anything.
We don't
Yeah,
have
you. It's you're
Kenji,
whoever.
we do not have enough time for me to explain to you why it is that things have do not have intrinsic value, but I just need you to understand that they don't.
And that Robin Williams is a good actor.
All right. Well, let's just be clear. I think I
I'm
can
gonna-
explain it very clearly to Kenji. I can very clearly explain it to you here, Kenji. Look, there are properties that things possess that are more able to satisfy a particular quota, of whatever it is the demand is. Okay, but we can't determine what the demand is, and that's where the subjective preference of value comes in.
No.
Look, there are. The fact is
talking-
that lead can provide better shielding against radiation material than aluminum.
Okay, so we're talking about
this is
subjective
a
value
fact.
now.
That's objective, not subjective.
Right. This is an objective truth. We know that there are, the ability of things to repel radiation particles. Lead is
quantify
superior than aluminum. We know this, okay? But that
Objective.
doesn't mean that we have a subjective need for more aluminum or more lead. Okay, there are times where if we have more demand for a lead protective barrier than a aluminum protective barrier, aluminum satisfies all these needs for a very low cost. As far as if you wanted to have an umbrella, hell, you just might as well use plastic. Why would you use lead to create an umbrella? There's no reason.
Rabbit hole.
You'll be punished by objective truth, right? So, just for clarity, subjective value doesn't. It's an estimation of objective truth. So you'll be punished in one way or the other if you pick a.
No.
Oh my God, Lauren! I wish you were just so up on this, because this is where I think.
No, I mean I can. I mean, if you want to give me the floor, I'll explain to you. I mean, we already
Absolutely,
did it.
go for it.
I mean, we already did this at the beginning of the episode. Things are not subjective. Subjective means that it can change at any moment randomly, not based on reality.
I
Objective.
never said it was. You interrupted me.
Things don't have intrinsic value either, because that would mean that good exists outside of whatever, and it doesn't matter. Everything is some arbitrary good that exists, and that we need to find it. That's not true. So the only thing left is objective. So morality is objective. It's based on objective reality, and you discover objective reality, and you discover what you want.
I didn't say reality. I didn't say reality was subjective, but there does exist subjective value.
No.
There exists both subjective and objective value, right? There's an objective value and there's subjective, which what I think is what my opinion is what objective reality is, right?
No.
So,
You have a subjective opinion on what objective reality is? Is that what you just said?
yeah, subjectivity is your opinion.
Subjectivity is objective?
No. You have a subject. Yeah. You're estimating what reality is, right?
Yourself.
No. Okay, all right. Let me just see if I can paraphrase what you're saying here, Kenshi.
Please.
I can't.
No.
All right, let me see if I can paraphrase what Kenshi is trying to say here. Look.
Thank you, Robert.
Hey, come on. Stop with the frickin' jokes. All right, look.
What is that?
It's one of the atoms. Stop it, Daniel, frickin' jerk. All right. Look, the claim is, Kenshi's claim is that if you have a subjective preference, your subjective preference might be wrong as far as objective reality is concerned. We can accept that. I mean, that's perfectly
That means it's immoral.
Yeah.
No. It's not about immoral. Daniel, if
being
you
a
don't
fag
stop this
again.
shit, I'm gonna freaking kick your ass out.
You shouldn't put Daniel and I in the same chat room. That was your first mistake.
Yeah. All right. So, but the thing is that look, if we have a objective preference and the objective preference is different than ours, then what happens is that our subjective claim will be punished by the market, by the fact that I made a claim that my subjective preference was that I wanted to have an iPhone that crapped out at 6 months. And then people started to buy the iPhone that crapped out at 2 years. And people were preferring the one that crapped out at 2 years instead of 6 months. And so my subjective claim was wrong. There are all sorts of opportunities that are presented to themselves for growth. And when the reality of what it is that the society demands, individual preferences are, aggregately, you will see that things will fail based upon bad premises. And that's his claim, is that there is a bad premise that's put forward. Is that right, Kenji?
Yeah, it's convoluted, but yeah, that's right. You have it. Just the fact that there's objective truth. I didn't say there's subjective reality. Well, it depends how you define it, right? Subjectivity kind of comes from something being poorly defined. So as soon as you start debating on something that's not quantitative, it kind of introduces subjectivity.
All right. So if I say that it's subjective preference that 2 + 2 = 5, it's idiocy.
Yeah, and in a base 10 system, yeah.
Okay. Right. And so then if I say that 2 + 2 equals,
because 2
I
+
don't know, 4, it's pretty easy to figure that out, and we move on. And so what happens is that the market determines what particular base system that we're in, and then we determine what it is that the goal should be. So, for example, when it comes to the preferential determination of how we are going to assign, computer chips, the market will determine what is the objective, reality of what these particular chips are devoted to. Is that correct?
No real world entity really knows the objective truth, right? You can probably, as far as the market being able to determine what objective truth is better than an individual, that's debatable. I do probably side with the market. Maybe I don't know.
So you're not sure that you could have.
It is objectively past my bedtime.
Well, we got 5 minutes left. Just so everybody who has participated in the particular discussion that we've had, I just want to, get final statements from everybody. You're going to start with Cody, and then we're going to go to Rothschild, and then we're going to go to Kenji, and then we're going to go to Lauren, and then we're going to go to Matthew.
Because Matthew doesn't say much.
There is an objective reality.
Woo!
Let's just put it that way. And sorry I'm late to the show. And
Lauren is the objective reality.
Next time I will actually participate. Actually, I won't be in the VVN roundtable for about a month, but I will try to make the late show as soon as I can, and hopefully I'll get my technical difficulties ironed out. You guys have the floor. Thanks for having me. Good night.
Roth?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I guess a few things. One, did I hear you right, Kenji, saying that there's no objective truth, or that it's not discoverable?
Let's start a fight in the last 5 minutes.
Not totally, not 100%, right? We're always striving toward perfect knowledge. You can't have perfect knowledge. You can't be omniscient. You can't be a god, right?
That's
true. You're all powerful or all knowing.
Fine. I guess the only thing that I'll end with is that it's a fun show. Thank you for having me on. I think that, the purpose of life is not necessarily to just procreate and breed.
But if it is, I'm winning.
There is intrinsic value. That's all I gotta say. But not in terms of virtual currencies.
Okay. Lauren.
I thought Kenji was going before me.
He did.
I did.
Oh, he already went? All right.
Yes.
All right, that was short. Let's see. Knowledge is not for all men, but for those who seek it. Who keep seeking. No, but seriously, guys, there is an objective reality. There is objective morality. There is objective law, but it doesn't need to be enforced. You are the enforcer of your own life. You are the arbiter of your own life. Take responsibility. Stop trying to shove responsibility onto the state or someone else. Do your own stuff. Stop trying to take advantage of welfare, other people, the state, and everything else. Do yourself, do your own stuff, and you're going to rock. Like, when I say stuff, I mean your goals. I mean, take your life into consideration. Ask, what do I want from it? And then live it. And don't let anybody get in the way. And all of this other, being concerned with procreation or what other people think or their standards or the government standards or laws or any of that other stuff, that's just getting in the way of what you want out of life. What do you want? That's the only question you have to ask. So, yeah, that is my 2 cents. Check me out on my Facebook page.
Matthew. Comments? Matthew.
Calling Matthew!
I know. Yeah, shut up.
Say something profound, damn it.
I really can't think of anything smart I have to say. So I get that's all.
Okay.
I mean, I agree. There is an objective reality and objective truth, but outside of that, I just can't think of anything else to say. But at least not witty, anyhow.
I believe objective reality just won this debate. So.
All right. Look, the thing that I would say to you is this: is that if you're going to have a rule, whatever it may be, have it be consistent about whatever it is that you believe, and apply that consistency across the board. If you believe that people shouldn't own property, well then, don't accept ownership of your own property. Don't accept that which you claim to use to achieve your goals. You will see very quickly that the truth is that objective truth is that if you convert something into what it is that you control and what you demand to do the things that you bid it to do, you have ownership of that particular piece of property, whether it be land or whether it be a computer or whether it be your vocal cords. You are a person that controls the molecules that exist in the world. And if you don't accept that you own that, if you don't accept that you have control over that, then chaos will ensue. If you accept that people, as a rule, can control that which they have created, you're an ANCAP. You're a voluntarist. This is the truth, and we are out. Thanks for watching.